Welcome to the class 9 students. This is the continuation part of the chapter Biology and Human Welfare. In my last video, I have discussed with you a few diseases and their symptoms, their transmission, mode of transmission and the causative organisms of those diseases. So I hope you have understood till diphtheria. So the next disease that I will be going to talk about today is pneumonia. This is the number 4 disease in your book. Number 4 disease in your book, pneumonia. Okay, now what causes pneumonia? It is a bacterial disease. That means the causative organ of pneumonia is a bacteria. What is the name of the bacteria? The name of the bacteria is Diplococcus pneumoniae. Diplococcus pneumoniae is the name of the bacteria which causes the disease pneumonia, and this is basically the causative organism or agent of pneumonia. Okay. Now there are other bacteria as well which causes, other than Diplococcus pneumoniae, the others are known as Mycoplasma pneumoniae, Chlamydia pneumoniae, etc., which also cause this disease. But the most common bacteria, the most common name of the bacteria of pneumonia is Diplococcus pneumoniae. Okay, now moving on to the symptoms. We all are very much familiar with the disease pneumonia. We have had pneumonia, or we have seen someone suffering from pneumonia. So this is a very common term, common disease for us. So we more or less have an idea what the symptoms of this disease are. First symptom is obviously high fever. Next, cough with green or yellow sputum. So when the patient coughs, the sputum or the saliva or the mucus mixed saliva that comes out, it is either greenish or yellowish in color. Next, chest pain, lobes of lung become solid with severe breathing troubles. Lobes of lung become solid with severe breathing troubles. Next, rapid breathing. Continuously a person breathes very fast. Okay. Next, bluish and greyish color of lips and fingernails due to the deficiency of oxygen in the body. So since the person is breathing rapidly, that means the patient is not getting enough oxygen in his or her body, and due to this deficiency of oxygen, the lips and the fingernails, the fingertips basically, they become bluish or greyish in color. So these are the symptoms of the disease pneumonia. Moving on to the transmission, how is this disease transmitted from one person to the another one? The disease spreads by the sputum of the patient. Sputum means by the saliva, or whenever a person is, whenever a patient is coughing or sneezing, whatever droplets come out from the mouth, if any other healthy person comes in contact with that, that may cause the transmission of the disease from one infected patient to a healthy person. Okay, so this is all about pneumonia, the causative organism. I have discussed the symptoms and how it is transmitted. Moving on to the next disease. The next disease is tetanus. The next disease is tetanus. So tetanus is a very common name for us whenever we get cut somewhere or we get a wound which we got from any outside material, any iron material, any iron rod or something like that, which is always exposed to the outside environment, to all different kinds of microorganisms, pathogens, etc., that might get inside our body through that wound. So whenever there is a possibility of that, we always get an injection named as tetanus. It is basically, the name of the injection is basically not a tetanus, it is known as tetanus toxoid. TT, you have learned about tetanus toxoid while I was talking about the previous topic, that is the types of vaccine. So tetanus toxoid is a injection or a vaccine given to a person who has cut himself or herself with something which has a very high chance of getting exposed to all the harmful pathogens. So the name of the disease is tetanus, and TT or tetanus toxoid is the name of the vaccine or the injection that we take whenever we think that we may get this disease tetanus due to such conditions of getting cut from outside, in the outside environment or any environment which may have a large number of pathogens. Okay. Now coming back to the book, it is a serious disease of man caused by Clostridium tetani. So the causative agent of tetanus is Clostridium tetani. Clostridium tetani, underline because it is a scientific name, is the causative organism or the pathogen of the disease tetanus. Now coming to the symptoms, spasms in the jaw muscles, also known as lockjaw. Lockjaw is basically when the jaws of a person get locked and they cannot move the jaws, and basically the jaws are locked. This occurs due to the spasms in the jaw muscles. Spasms means the muscular contraction which doesn't help the muscles move. Okay. So this lockjaw is one very important symptom of tetanus. The spasms also affect the chest, neck, back, abdominal muscles and abdominal muscles. Chest, neck, back and abdominal muscles, there also the spasms are shown. Next, back muscle spasms often cause arching called opisthotonos. So you might skip the name opisthotonos, but the rest portion you will have to read that the back muscle spasms means spasms in the back muscle of the patient may cause arching of the back, and which is very abnormal condition of this disease, tetanus. So lockjaw is one very important symptom. After that, back muscle spasm, causing arching. So, and spasms in chest, neck, back and abdominal muscles. These are the symptoms of the disease tetanus. Okay. Now coming to transmission. Infection generally occurs through wound contamination and often involves a cut or deep punctured wound. So as I have said, it basically causes through a wound or a cut which may be contaminated because it is exposed to certain pathogens. Okay, so this is the mode of transmission. I have previously told you TT or is the vaccine of the disease tetanus. I hope you have understood everything about tetanus. Moving on to the next disease. So the next disease is tuberculosis. This one is also quite a common name. I hope you have heard about the disease or heard the name at least of tuberculosis, which I will discuss in the next video. Thank you.